remember the old Roman god Janus? Some people pronounce it Janus. It's the god with two faces, one facing forward, one facing backward, looking into the past and into the future. It's where we get the name January for our first month. It's a ridiculous time of year to have a first month. The first month should be at the vernal equinox, but I digress. Anyway, Janus was in fact, the kind of like the god of time. I'm oversimplifying his role, but it's a good model. It's a good metaphor, analogy, however you want to say it, for the way we need to approach our training. I spend a lot of time looking into the past, looking into the traditions, as well as looking at the modern understanding of functionality. Because no matter how many clinical trials you run, no matter how many tests and focus groups you have, you're always going to miss a little bit of something. There's always going to be a flaw in the research. And you have to understand that as much as I love and trust and believe in science, there is error. And you have to be able to go from taking research that has been reliably handed down, and always do your research on the research and figure out, follow the money, who paid for it and all that. And I must admit I'm sometimes remiss in my duty of that. But you look at the studies to figure out what the newest tweak is. But then you have to look back in the past to find out where the intuition and the experience brought about the results you're looking for. We look, a great example is if you look at Asia, especially Chinese martial arts culture, if we look at the recommendations for joint mobility, the classical recommendations for joint mobility and stretching and limberness, here in the Western world, everything they do in China is totally off of what you're supposed to be doing. And I want you to understand that because certain research showed certain things under certain parameters, we've been led to believe that what they're doing is wrong. But the fact is that they're getting results over and above the results that we get in many cases. And they're not tearing up their joints, and they're not causing themselves problems and causing, soft tissue damage by doing things in ballistic and dynamic fashion the way that we're taught not to. In fact, current research is showing that the static stretching, the muscle lengthening, the tissue lengthening that we've been led to believe is safe and appropriate is actually causing more problems than the dynamic stuff is. But the thing is, you have to also understand that circumstances are everything. And if your circumstances say, well, you don't even have proper mobility, you have to restore mobility first before you can even start worrying about things like stretching. Mobility first, stretching later. Make sure you have full range of motion, internal rotation, external rotation, full flexion and extension. You have to be able to do those things before you can start messing around with all the other stuff. Yeah, if you have dysfunctional joints, you know what? The ballistic stuff probably is going to tear you up. But if you've been working full depth squats and lunges and bending and twisting and full range primal patterns for the majority of your life and through your training, which a lot of martial arts do, you're going to be better off and you're going to be okay. It's far better, really, to do the dynamic stuff. And I've seen over and over again, looking at gymnasts and parkour practitioners and martial artists, that the dynamic stuff is what gets us ready for the motion. The static stuff doesn't do a whole lot. Some static type stuff, and really I would tend towards yoga, which is a whole different beast in and of itself than static stretching. is good for a cool down. It will let you recover your heart rate and will reduce cortisol and allow your testosterone to do what it needs to do. It's the decompression and hormone clearing effect of something like yoga is fantastic, but that really needs to be reserved for afterwards. But you got to restore mobility. You have to do things that will put you through a range of motion, warm your joints and all that functionally first, and to do that you really do need dynamic joint work. So I just want you to understand that research is great, but don't ignore the intuition and experience of the past, because the intuition and experience is what has been getting results up to this point. Just tag the research on top of it and look and compare notes and figure out what's going on. Figure out the circumstances and start playing with it from there. But don't ignore the past. Be like Janus. Look both backwards and forwards at the same time. Good journey.